I think was, I won't say it was poor, but I was aware of it. But from a business perspective, we send SMS. That's our primary business, and I never sort of thought that SMS was would affect sustainability in any way, shape, or form, or emissions or whatever. So, yeah, it was pretty basic. I do or have done quite a substantial amount of travel. So whether it's in Ireland or abroad, we have a big part of our business is wholesale SMS. So we take a lot of SMS coming in from outside of Ireland, from Europe, from big companies like Meta, etc. So I did a lot of travel, or I do a lot of travel abroad to try and pick up that type of business, which bring it into Ireland. So that was an area that was quite relevant in terms of trying to reduce that down. So rather than going to 3 or 4 different functions each year, we've reduced it down to 1. So the big thing for me was the 15 categories of the Scope 3. That was really interesting. And it allowed me to be able to go through both the upstream and the downstream. And that was quite interesting because there's a lot of stuff there that when we sell on our service, you sort of never think what's going on the other side. In other words, the customers that bought the product, etc. So that was really important. I think I understand that now, and sort of you think a little bit about what company, like for example, we're dealing with a big cement. I won't name the company. We're dealing with a big cement manufacturer, so we're selling SMS into them. But then at the back end of that, then what are they doing from their end to try and close that circle from a sustainability throughout the board. A lot of the companies that we're dealing with, enterprise companies, that's part and parcel of their questions to us. So we're running for ISO 27001, for example, which we're hoping to get that finalized in April. We've just become a B Corp company as well. So all of these things play into us. Look, I'm here to try and generate business for the company, right? So that's really important. But whether we go in for tenders, whether from enterprise or government, one of the questions is always there: what is our sustainability credentials? And we have to be able to provide that to have any chance of moving on to the next stage in that process. I thought it was really good because what it allowed me to do was, so I'm not a great reader of books, right? If someone says to me, I want you to read this book about a business subject or whatever, it's like, but because it was online, because I was able to go and read, and obviously it's very visual because there's videos, etc. in it as well. Everything's little pointers, you pick on and a little box comes up and it's fine. But then having the test at the end of it as well, rather than just reading the book, putting it down and forgetting about it, the test was there to test your knowledge base. So it was excellent. There's not as many meetings outside of the office or outside of my home now, because obviously working from home. So there's not, and most of it is on Teams. So that's really good, right? So that reduces down the amount of commute that you have to do, whether you're going into town or somewhere else down the country. So any meetings that I have outside of Dublin are all on Teams, which is fabulous. As I said to you earlier on, in terms of my travel abroad, I've reduced that down to 1 rather than 4 trips each year. And we also use what we call these smart plugs that tracks our energy usage at home on our laptops and so on as well. So, and that's all fed back into the business, and we're able to use data to make sure that we're all sort of within our sustainability limits. Nothing gets done unless we have the data. So if someone comes up with a fantastic idea, we say, "Oh, that's great," but what's the data behind it? And we'll take it from there once we have that. So in terms of sustainability, anything that we're doing now is all data related. Okay, so whether we are going in for a tender, we need to have the correct data that goes into that to be able to prove that we're doing what we're saying we're going to do. But also at the other end of that, then is to, like, we have data centers, all our servers are in data centers, etc. So we need to know what their sustainability targets are as well. So once we combine all of that, I think what it will do eventually with all businesses that we're dealing with, it'll close the circle, and everybody will be looking after their own side, whilst also making sure that they have an idea of what their customers or their suppliers are. I think more people that do it, the better, and more companies that do it, the better, and it keeps everybody on the same course. But certainly, from our perspective, we've really enjoyed it. The whole company has got involved in it. All 20 employees have done it, and that's really important. So there's not one person that come in and say, well, I didn't know anything about it. Everybody's on the same track.